Good morning. Welcome to Bells of Hale. Today is Thursday, April the 11th, 2013. This is segment 1 of 4 that will be today. It's early morning today. We want to welcome you to the show, and thanks for those that are participating in the show. I want to tell my grandmother today, happy birthday. We won't be telling how old she is, but we'll just say that it's been nearly 8 decades. Excuse me, I guess I just let the cat out of the bag, that she's been alive and on this earth. And what a wonderful, godly woman she is. So we want to say happy birthday to her. And also want to take the time out to say thanks to Pandora again for the free music. I really enjoy it and get up and get moving with Pandora in the mornings. I don't know about you, but I have my trusty coffee this morning to get started. So here we go. Yesterday we talked about gay marriage, current events and such, things of that nature, and had some positive and negative responses to the show, and that's fine. That's expected. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. My only thing would be that if you are going to make comments and watch the show, that you watch all the segments of the show, that they are broken up into 4 and they are numbered. And they do have the episode and the number and the segment number and the content of the show in there. So you're more than welcome to leave comments. I welcome any and all comments. I really appreciate them. They're invaluable to me. I might say something that gets under your skin, and you may say something gets under my skin, but we can all agree to disagree on certain things and share our opinions, and that's fine. That's what it's for. Communication is the best tool to avoid problems, and so if we can communicate and get our points across without getting angry or upset, then we've done pretty good. Excuse me. I want to start out with the comments that were left yesterday. This is from Curious Sebastian, and this was from our episode 2, our April 10th version, our segment of the show. It was from segment 4 from the gay marriages and pet peeves discussion. I'm assuming it's a he. It may be a she, but with the name Sebastian, maybe it is a man, but if not, I apologize. The first comment that he left says that there is legal marriage. Gay couples can get legal marriage. You mad? Good. Well, Sebastian, no, I'm not mad at gay people. And if you'd have watched all 4 segments of the show, then you would have understood that I wasn't mad at gay people. What I'm mad about is the fact that that marriage is an institution between a man and a woman. This was an institution that was set forth by God and no one else. It was made by God for man and woman. And if you don't believe in God, then that's fine. You can go back and look it up for yourself. I've done my research, and if I'm wrong, then I'll say I'm wrong. I'll come on here and say, well, you proved me wrong. But when you do your research, and that's your job, that's not my job. My job is not to tell you what the facts are and then you just accept them, because that's what we do in society today. Is we listen to people on Fox or CSNBC or whatever, or we read things on the internet and we just accept them as fact and go on. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. With all the information and all the tools you have to gather up the facts, you have everything at your fingertips that you can gather up the actual facts and put them all together and weigh out the evidence, and then decide for yourself what's true and what's not true. Me, after doing this, I have discovered that marriage was, in essence, created by God. And when I say created by God, if you don't believe in God, let me put it to you another way. It was formed in a society that worshiped God, and that's about the best way that I can explain it to you without getting into argument over the Bible. The society that marriage was instituted in was God-fearing people that worship God, did their sacrifices, went to the temples, and all the stuff that you read about in the Old Testament of the Bible. And that's not just coming from the Bible, that's coming from history books. You can search throughout all the history of the world, archaeologists studies everything else, and you put it all together, and that's what it comes out to be. So, I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to do your own research. Don't just trust me. Do your own research. And then if you find something to prove me wrong, then that's fine. It's just like there is legal marriage. Well, yeah, there is legal marriage. And my whole point in segment 3s and segment 2 and all the other segments that I've done about gay marriage, the whole point was that really there shouldn't be any recognized marriage as far as the federal government goes. Because it is a Christian institute or institution, and being a Christian institution, then that's establishing a religion in some form. It's not coming out forthright and just establishing one and saying this is the religion we're using, but it is establishing a form of religion in the country. And and I'm glad that they do recognize it and such. But on the same token, what is marriage? And the United States of America has never defined marriage. There's a reason they've never defined marriage. Because marriage was never, when this country was created, marriage was never intended to be between a man and a man or a woman and a woman. And they never fathomed that ever even coming up. So since they didn't address it, they weren't worried about it. And that's the whole point. And so we'll go on to your next comments here, Sebastian. It says, homosexuality is not a lifestyle or a choice. Well, I have to disagree, because just your statement there, homosexuality is not a lifestyle or a choice. I mean, it would have to be one or the other, wouldn't it? I mean, because your lifestyle is the way you live your life. And so if it's not a lifestyle, then what is it? I mean, heterosexuality is a lifestyle. So I'm not sure, because homosexuality does it affects everything that you do. It affects your worldview. It affects everything in your life. It doesn't just affect your sexual orientation. It affects every decision that you make. And that's the way mine is, because it's part of who you are. It's part of your worldview, so it makes it your lifestyle. And you go on to say, and who are you to tell another the way to live their life is wrong? Well, again, if you'd have watched the other segments, I wasn't trying to tell you how living your life was wrong. But just like you telling me my opinions is wrong, I have the right to tell you what I think about how you're living. I don't mean it, not a right to tell you how you're living. Excuse me, I said that wrong. But it's just like when I was a criminal, and I was doing things that were wrong, drinking, drugging, stealing, and all that. Well, it would have been perfectly acceptable for you to come up and tell me that the lifestyle that I was living was wrong. Okay? And so now homosexuality is the same way, because it's not natural. If it was natural, then everybody would be the same sex. It's not natural. It's not the natural order of things. So that you have to understand that not telling you the way that you live your life is wrong, because you may live your life as a perfectly good, productive citizen of the United States of America, and that's fine. I have no problems with that. But the one little part in your life that is sinful is the homosexuality. And I base my morals on the Bible. Now, I've challenged many people to tell me what they base their morals on. And, and the only thing that they can tell me is just because it's right. Well, so if drinking and drugging and stealing, if me and a whole bunch of people decided that we thought that was right, would that make it right? Well, no. But you have to have something to base your morals on. Are your morals based on laws? I mean, is that where? So if that's the case, then everything that's against the law is immoral. I mean, is that what we're going to? So So then, if they legalize marijuana and make it okay for you to buy and sell marijuana and smoke marijuana and whatever, if they do that, does that make it morally right? That's, I don't think so, but I guess you have to be left to your own devices when it comes to that. We'll go on here. It says you do want to tell them how to live your life. Well, I don't. You want to ban gay couples from getting married and adopting. Well, that's not what I said. I never said anything about banning people from adopting. Yes, I don't want gay people getting married because of the reasons I told you. And again, if you'd have watched all the segments, you would have understood why it wasn't just banning gay couples. Well, yeah, I mean, that was my stance. My very first stance, I said from the very beginning in segment at the very beginning of the gay marriage discussion was, yes, I do want to ban gay couples from getting married. Yes, I did say that. But I didn't say that I wanted to ban them from getting adopted. That is unacceptable. Christians did not invent marriage. How can you say that? It does not belong to Christians. God is not real. I'm not a Christian. I will get married to someone of the same sex and adopt kids. Well, that's fine, Sebastian. That's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want to do. I can't stop you. I wished I could. I wished I could stop you from the things that traumatize kids. We're so worried about, parents spanking their kids, but we're not worried about what the effects of a gay couple raising a child from birth is. And there's, is there children that would grow up normal? Absolutely. Is there children that would grow up and not be normal? Of course. I mean, think about sexual predators. 2 men, okay? Think about that. 2 men that are sexual predators, they decide that they are going to be in a gay marriage, a gay union, and they adopt a child just for the sole fact that they want to molest them. And you think that's far-fetched, but it'll happen. It has happened. I was in prison with guys that would tell me stories about stuff like this. So this is not stuff that I'm making up. This is stuff that's already happened. You comment about God not being real. Well, that's up to you. I mean, and my grandmother used to have a bumper sticker that says, if you're living like there is no God, then you better be right. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel about that. I believe there is and you believe there isn't. That's up to you. I would hate to think, it's kind of depressing to think that we just came from amoebas and formed out of monkeys over evolution, and then when we die we just go back to dirt and that's it, and that's the end of it. That's kind of depressing to me. So I would rather live like there is hope for an eternal life, and then of course the Christian views are not, there's nothing negative in the Christian views, nothing at all. It's not about anything other than love, and it teaches love and acceptance. So, and that's kind of what the gay community teaches, isn't it? Is love and acceptance. But that's neither here nor there. But I will address the Christians did not invent marriage thing. And I never said that Christians invented marriage. God created marriage. So there's a difference between invention and creation. But he created the marriage for a man and woman. That's my belief. But it was done in a community that were God-fearing people that worshiped God, and the Christian God, not the Muslim God, not the Hindu God or Buddhist God or any of the 333 gods there are that come along with that. And if I'm wrong, then prove me wrong. Do your research and then find out for yourself. Don't just say that it wasn't done for Christians. Well, it was. Technically it wasn't done for Christians, and it doesn't belong to Christians. It belongs to God. It was done, God did it so that man and woman could be together in a union to avoid the situations that are, number one, to grow the population, but number two, God had the foresight to see today's age with diseases and such, and we'll get into all that another day. But if you can find something, do your research, Sebastian, and you can get back to me on that. Do your research about where marriage came from and who was the first society to do it, and I think you'll be surprised when you find out the answer. I have done the research. I do know. It's not up to me to tell you, though. Like I said, I don't want to be like Bill O'Reilly, even though I agree with some of the stuff he says. And than some of the other people on here that just tells you your opinion. I'll tell you mine, and then you go and look it up and prove me wrong. It's just like the separation of church and state. If you can find that anywhere in our Constitution or our Bill of Rights, then or even the Declaration of Independence, then I'll give you everything I own. So that's a challenge to everybody. So you can do however you wish. Want to take time out and tell you about Restoration Community Outreach. Of course, those that watch the show daily know that's our program that we kind of sponsor. They tutor children, some adults. They're located here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. You can look at their website at restorationcommunityoutreach.com and just check it out. They do a lot of good things, from preventive maintenance programs to community work and everything else. On top of their tutoring, they were hit by a tornado that came through Mount Juliet back in January, and it's really put some strains on them. So please go to their website, and if you feel led to, go ahead and donate some money to them. There's a PayPal link on there. Just do that, or you can contact them at 615-754-7777 if you need some help or assistance with tutoring, or if you just want to find out some more information about them. You get that in the website. It's a balmy 73 degrees today in Middle Tennessee, looking for some storms and some pretty rough weather. That's going to end segment 1 for today. It's been good answering the comments from Sebastian, and I'm glad that he decided to do that, and I look forward to hearing from more of you. I welcome any and all comments. Tune in to segment 2, and it should be up and running shortly. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you in segment 2.